We are back. This is the Sports Counterpoints podcast. It's May the 7th, 2025. Back after a little break. Got Brian back in the fold as he did a little traveling. Welcome back. Get back safe, which is awesome. Brian and Coop with me. This is Sports Counterpoints. What's going on, my guys?
Getting back safe was almost a question mark because I was flying through Newark Airport, which has been in the news a whole
Woo!
lot.
Glad you
Yeah,
told me after. That's one of the
yeah.
things where,
Well, I had to deal with it during.
right.
Yeah, it was. I kept on getting text messages too from the airport, like, this is things are destined to possible to change, and your flight could be delayed or canceled, and please understand. But it would send it like every 3 hours. And so it's like, okay, are you guys trying to tell me not to keep my flight?
What
I
do I
called my
do?
travel agent and said, so what about other options? But by the time they could get back to me, I was done, moving on.
Got it.
Yeah.
Glad, man. That's crazy. Like, yeah, I didn't even know. I mean, I knew you were out there, but I guess it makes sense. So glad you made it, man. It's all safe.
Yeah.
No other issues because I've been seeing it a lot.
Traveling Travis. That's your
Yeah, for
name,
real.
man.
For real. For real.
Man.
So we added we'll be talking about another Travis pretty soon here. So we're
Right.
talking about it's NFL draft recap because we haven't had a show since, and then some NBA talk and yeah, whatever else pops up. So let's get to it, man. On the show a couple weeks ago, we did our draft thoughts, and we went I think the first 12 teams and who they'd get. Yeah, because Coop, you guys were at 11, so we went through that and who people would get and what was going to happen. So let's run it down, man. So starting first pick, unanimous. We all had Cam Ward. Cam Ward goes to the Titans. What do y'all think about that?
Obvious. They did what they were supposed to do.
Yep.
Yeah. This is actually the least talked about number one pick for a quarterback that I can remember. Nobody's talking about the number one pick as quarterback. Everybody's talking about, Shador, but Cam Ward's getting no attention, but yeah, obvious pick.
We knew he was going there. I thought it was
Yeah.
cool. Warren Moon came out and was like, yeah, he could wear the number one. That was cool to see Warren Moon there. I mean, I got to be honest, personally, I think it's cool, man, because you're still going to the Titans. So don't hype me up too much. Just let me get over there and play a little bit because
Oh
it ain't
yeah.
like
I mean, I'm
Who's
sure
their-
he's been doubted all his life.
who's
What's
their
up,
coach even?
Brian Callahan.
Oh, damn. Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah. What's his name, son? Yeah.
Yeah,
Our
Brian.
our old coach.
Yeah. Hey, but Brian, was you about to say something?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
All
Yeah.
right, word. So Cam Ward
Obvious.
goes. So second pick was a little bit of a shakeup. The Jaguars move up, and we were saying that they might move up to get Ashton Genty. They do not. They swap picks
Not
with.
we.
Huh? No,
Not we.
no, it was.
We all had Travis Hunter going second. We just didn't have him going to
Yeah.
Jacksonville.
No, I'm
you
saying
know.
that we thought if the Jags were going to trade up, the thought was they were trading up to get Genty.
Oh no,
That
I
was-
didn't think they was gonna get Genty. That was obviously a smoke screen. I never
Yeah.
thought that.
It
Yeah.
was just in the news, so it was a
Yeah.
conversation
I knew it.
piece.
I knew exactly where Genty was going.
But they swapped.
Yeah.
They switched out. No, it's great. Hey, please. I don't know. This ain't bad for me. Shit. Please.
Yeah.
Excuse the cuss words for the little homies to watch. So Travis Hunter goes to the Jaguars. And it sounds like they're gonna start him on the offensive side of the ball and work him in on the defense. What'd you guys think about
Well,
about
I'm
the
interested in
Jags
hearing
getting him?
Brian first on this one. What you think about the Jazz trading up to get Travis Hunter?
Look, I mean, where they were, where they are, to get the guy that they apparently want, that's fine. I don't necessarily think that this pans out. I think if you're trying to do too much, it's hard to be great at any one thing. But I wish him the man the best. He seems like a good kid, so cool. But Jags did what they were supposed to do with draft picks, and you always talk about how you don't value the draft picks. So you might as well go get the guy you want. And if that's who you want,
True.
go get him.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think? Coop?
This is nothing against Travis Hunter. I mean, I wish him the best. I just think it was dumb for Jacksonville to give up. I mean, if you're Cleveland, you automatically say yes. I wouldn't even go to the owner. I'll be like, yeah, I'll make this trade. Next year, Cleveland has 3 of the top 36 picks in next year's draft. You got to assume Jacksonville's going to be bad. But the reason why I think this was a dumb trade, I mean, Travis Hunter, small guy. I think the only way this trade works is if he's an all-pro or pro bowler on both sides of the ball, which is highly unlikely. Another reason why I say it's dumb is because Jacksonville has a new coach. He has no idea how good his team is. He's not one player away. This is not a good Jacksonville team. You don't know how good his quarterback is, and they gave up a first-round pick in next year's draft for a guy who's not a quarterback and who's tiny, I don't
They
get it.
got they got what's his name? They got Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
They got a
okay. So they
quarterback.
don't have no quarterback, and
Here
so
you go. Here you go.
I don't get the trade. I mean, like I said, it's nothing against Hunter. I just think it was just a dumb move to give up next year's first round pick for Travis Hunter. I get what he did in college was amazing, but yeah, if you're Cleveland, you definitely make that deal. Now they're going to have 2 first round picks in the top 10 because Cleveland's going to be bad, and most likely Jacksonville will be too. So good for them.
That's why you draft people though, based off what they did in college, right? So we'll see what happens. So
No, you draft people projection what they're going to do in the pros, not what they did in college. But I get what you're saying.
I mean, yeah, what you have
I get you.
is you're basing that whole projection off of what they did.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
against that
got you.
competition. But yeah, definitely. So third pick, Abdul Carter goes to the Giants. This is exactly what everybody said. They pair him with Brian Burns and a pretty Dexter Lawrence, I think, is over there too. A pretty tough defensive front. We kind of talked about it during the draft. That didn't really change. But anything to add?
Anything? Brian was all over this one. Anything?
Yeah, no, I expected. I mean, this is just a reasonable pick.
Yep, makes sense. So you got that. So then Will Campbell, offensive tackle, goes to the Patriots, which also makes sense. Got to protect the young boy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how good this guy will be, but yeah, I mean, I definitely get the pick. I get it.
I think it's
Yeah.
it's awesome in those, like, you have a much better chance. I mean, it's not always, but you have a much better chance of hitting on a lineman than a lot of skill
Probably, yeah.
players. You know what I mean?
Probably,
Like,
yeah.
it just you can kind of work them in unless they're just terrible. But if they were pretty solid in college, they often end up being
Yeah. I mean, there have been
pretty
some bad
solid.
linemen, like
Yeah,
when
no,
Eric
for
Fisher
sure.
was drafted #1 by Kansas City, and he was horrible. But
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
I mean,
But
I
on
hear what you're
average,
saying, though.
I think
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot more of those guys that if you would end up getting this drafted this high as a lineman, you end up being, for some reason, they end up being solid. But
Yeah.
so you got that. So then with the pick that, Jaguars swap with the Browns. The Browns get Mason Graham from Michigan, defensive tackle, to pair with Myles Garrett in that line. What do you guys think about that one?
I mean, Mason
It's a
Graham was
smart
okay in
pick.
college. I don't know.
Yeah,
What you say,
it's
Brian?
a foundational pick. I mean,
Yeah.
like you said, they've got a bunch of picks next year. What they need to do is draft people who can play for a long time. DT, OT. You don't want people with short shelf lives when you're drafting for 3 years from now. And that's effectively what they're trying to do. Is they're trying to figure out what they're going to put. And we're going to talk about that obviously later because of other picks. But they're trying to figure out the pieces now that they think will get to a point in 2-3 seasons to do something. So, yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah, when they made the pick and did not draft a quarterback, my whole thinking was, okay, like they're building a team and they're going to get a quarterback next year. We found out they got a quarterback later, which we'll talk about. But I thought they were
2
just
quarterbacks.
Yeah, right. But I thought they were going to throw their hat in for next year because the quarterback class will be a little bit better than this year.
I don't think they won't.
They may.
Don't think they won't. Exactly.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They don't dictate tomorrow. Just ask Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly. Don't think they won't. 6th pick. The Oakland, Los Angeles, Las Vegas Raiders select Ashton Genty from Boise State, running back. You guys both had that one too.
Yeah, well, that's based off Brian, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just think it's a smart pick. I mean,
yeah,
they've got a lot of talent over there. They needed, and the way that offense and Pete Carroll runs an offense and a team is very, very much focused on a running game that can be productive and quarterback that can take advantage of them keying in on the running back. So this was exactly what we all kind of thought they did. We had heard that they were going to do and kind of expected them to do, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it does. Coop.
Yeah. Definitely makes makes a lot of sense. I'm kind of partial to Little Hampton, maybe because I saw him a little bit more in college, but this is not a bad pick. I'm interested to see seeing how this works out. I'm very interested in watching the Raiders.
You're gonna see him plenty at when we're out there for football on this Madden. You're gonna see the boy plenty. Yeah, you're gonna see Genty plenty. Please believe. And I thought it was a good pick. I think that based on the draft, I was telling my mom as we talk football and a lot of my other homies that are Raider fans, like the only thing is I'm not used to all this like media attention of how good the Raiders drafted. It's kind of making me nervous. So
you got a lot of hype.
Yeah, it's kind of,
a lot of people are loving it.
Kind of new, but
they've changed foundationally how the organization looks at and makes certain decisions, right? I mean, Brady, Carroll, GM, so
High
on
tech,
and so forth.
Yeah. Loving it. So yeah, we're excited to see Genty, and I think it is dope because me and Coop and Jace got to see him play live at San Jose State. Really good seats too. We was right there. He was running right at us when he played.
All right.
So that was cool. They had one of them linemen they had. I wish we'd have got him. That fool was like
He
huge.
was big. Yeah, he was
Dang,
big.
that was a big. That
Hey,
fool was
and if he didn't
massive.
get drafted, he must be slow or something wrong
Oh
with him
my
or something.
gosh,
I don't
man!
know,
Like
but yeah, he
that
was
was one of
big.
the biggest people I ever seen.
Yeah, he was a big dude.
We were
Yeah.
sitting up. We were sitting up in the Raptors, and we were same height. I'm like, damn.
Yeah. Yeah. That part. Yeah.
Bro, it was massive. So yeah, so the Raiders get Genty. Not at all upset about that. Anyone who plays me in Madden will get to see plenty of what he looks like. So then you go to the New York Jets, who get Armand Membu from Missouri, offensive tackle.
So not who I expected them to take, but I expected them to take that position. It's just really because I don't know what these teams
How
are
it
doing. I don't
falls.
know the
Yeah.
positions that well. It's like, yeah, I expect them to take an offensive tackle. The next guy on the tackle list is this. So, they did what they need to do. Again, another team that is trying to look at how to put the pieces together to build a team over the long term. They're not trying to, I don't believe they have any crazy expectations about winning a Super Bowl next year. But, they expect to make progress, and this is how you make progress.
Yeah. New coach too.
Yeah, I thought they
One
would
in the
take a
trenches.
tight end because that's something that they need. They definitely need a tight end, just like Indianapolis. They got Jets and Indianapolis got virtually no production from the tight end position. And with Justin Fields there, he likes to run around a lot, but at least you want to give him a target that he can dump the ball off to. So I thought they would go tight end, but they went offensive line. So we'll see how that works out for him.
Yeah. Well, you have Aaron Glenn coming over, and he was at a team that won in the trenches. So it makes sense to same thing that the Bears have been doing in some of their other moves to get linemen. Not they did in this pick, but for this first round, but they have been via free agency.
Yep.
And then you got the Carolina Panthers get, I don't know how to say this dude's name, man.
Just say Ted McMillan. That's what people are calling him, just Ted.
Yeah.
Yeah. With him, I remember I went to 49ers to get him. I actually read that the 49ers were looking up to draft someone. I don't know if it was this guy, but they ultimately did not do it. But I like Ted McMillan. The reviews I hear from people, they're split. Some people love him, others don't. They said because he doesn't really create separation. It's a lot of contested catches, but I think for a quarterback like Bryce Young, who's kind of short, you want to give him somebody who has a catch radius that's pretty long, pretty wide, and Ted McMillan has that. He's the first receiver since Mike Evans, the last big tall wide receiver since Mike Evans to run a sub 4.5 40 and still get drafted in the top 10. So hopefully he has a Mike Evans type of career because I really like Mike Evans. But
they could only wish.
Yeah. Look, I understand the move for Carolina. If it doesn't work out, I can't fault them for swinging for the fences on this one.
Yep. B.
Makes sense to me.
Yep. The only thing that I heard and it was him saying it was like, oh yeah, I don't really watch film. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I heard that after,
bro. I didn't want to be
I heard
involved in
that after. Right. I did hear a couple things
even if it's true, bro, don't say it. Like,
yeah.
And he said it like
didn't work out for Kyle Murray, did it?
Nah, it didn't work out for Jamarcus Russell. It don't work out for nobody, not in the league, bro. You gotta study your opponents, and to be so nonchalant with it, I was like, ugh. I wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah.
For me, I wasn't a fan of it.
He just goes out there and plays, but yeah.
Yeah, and it could work fine, but it's just kind of like, oh, this the league, bro. Like, you need every advantage you could get. So they definitely watching film on you. I'll put it like that.
Yeah.
So the one of the teams we thought might draft a quarterback, the New Orleans Saints, take Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle from Texas. What y'all think about that one?
I wanted him.
A little bit of a surprise, but
I know.
At the same time, trying to predict or understand what a team like that's going to do is weird. That being said, they did. Honestly, I think a little bit of what happened here was they too also realized that Shedeur Sanders isn't that guy, and they realized that after Cam Ward, the quarterbacks that they wanted, they could get later, and that's what they did. They got one in the second round.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yep. Yeah, Brian, I agree.
I don't understand why they took that quarterback because I've seen film on him because he's part of. But at the same time, they decided that they wanted this guy and that they could wait to get him. Probably could have waited longer. But
they could have waited till after the draft.
Man, Man,
Bro, the
Brian, I'm
clips
with you.
I
We'll
saw
talk
were
about that later.
hilarious. Yeah, the
We will
clips
talk
I
Yeah,
about
saw
that
were
they did
later.
not
hilarious.
I'm
do
with
that
you.
many any favors, but he
No,
was
Yeah.
the fourth ranked quarterback at the
Yeah.
position.
But by
And
who?
second off the board.
He wasn't on my
Yeah.
board at fourth, but yeah, he was on somebody's
Well,
board.
I mean, you also said it's a weak quarterback class, so someone got to be 4.
Man,
Someone got to be 5. You know what I mean?
once you get past 24 years old, you can't
You
be on
want
my
the board.
draft board. Then he about to be 26 years old when the season starts. We'll talk
Bro,
about that though.
Yeah.
But
All
I
right.
doubt his age is the one of his bigger problems.
man,
Yeah.
No.
well, yeah.
And like you said, they did him no favors. I know he had better clips than that, but the one I saw
Right?
and kept seeing was hilarious. I mean, I was literally laughing, bro. I was like dang near in tears laughing at it. That was funny, man. Like they needed the little
That
laugh
ain't
track.
right.
They just need that
Man.
little little music
Man.
behind it, bro. Bro, I was dying, bro, watching that. If you haven't seen it, we'll get to. I gotta find his name. Y'all gotta see it. That was
Tyler
Who?
Show.
Tyler Show?
yes.
Show,
Thank
yeah.
you. It was 2 clips. It was one from the combine, and then the other one was like.
The game film.
Oh,
my
man,
God.
it's like if I gave JoJo my controller in the middle of a game, like here,
That's hella funny. Hella funny.
he does not play Madden. That's all.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the guy I wanted, Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle. So I guess it'll help New Orleans. I don't know, but
If he was there,
you
y'all
know.
wouldn't have taken him, bro. Y'all don't missing no. Y'all ain't protecting the quarterback, bro. They not
we ain't doing that. We ain't
Nah,
doing that.
they going after the other one only. Only. You got
Only.
you got a defensive GM. He ain't thinking about that, bro.
Man.
The Bears get Colston Loveland from Michigan. They got the tight end.
Yes. Well, this was both a surprise and exactly what I thought at the same time. And the reason for this is where I thought the tight end was going, but I thought it was Tyler Warren, which everyone was talking about as like one of the top tight ends. So I was expecting them to take a tight end to network that expected, but I did not see a single thing that talked about Loveland over Tyler Warren. That's where they went. They are the Bears after all. So Tyler Warren should be thanking his lucky stars.
Yeah.
They got some pieces.
Well, Tyler Warren started to get a lot of love, to be honest with you, B, when Colston Loveland kind of got banged up, and then, he was the apple of everybody's eyes, to be honest with you. But I didn't see this one coming, Colston Loveland going there. But the first thing I thought about when he got drafted was John Harbaugh. I mean, look at him as a talent evaluator. I think they set a record. Michigan set a record last year for like most guys in a single class being drafted in the draft. And in this year's draft, Michigan wasn't even good. They had bad coaching. They weren't good all the way around. They had 3 guys drafted in the first 13 picks. So I was just like, I just thought of Jim Harbaugh, like this dude knows how to, recruit players or whatever. But I don't know how he's going to work out. I mean, let me ask you, Brian, you watched a lot of USC games. Did Caleb Williams throw to the tight end a lot?
I mean, he threw to a lot of people a lot.
Okay.
So, yeah, but Caleb likes the big play. He has a problem. That doesn't mean he won't throw it to a tight end. I'm not saying that about him, but he is easily enticed, and we saw this at the end of his rookie season by trying to make the bigger play.
Yeah, that's why
I would imagine, though, that the Bears are trying to get that out of him and want to give him a big target that he should have confidence in the middle. Because, if you're going to tell someone not to throw it to the wide receiver deep down the field, the guy in the middle of the field, short, like the tight end, had better be confidence inspiring. And
I don't know if you know this, Glenn, but Colston Loveland is 6'6", 260. He's a big dude. Yeah, he's a big dude.
Yeah, that's a red zone target.
Yeah, Warren and Tyler Warren is 6'6", 250. So
jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yep.
Word. All right. So to your
we'll
squad,
get to Tyler
man.
Warren later.
Let's get to your well, yeah, we might as well do 15 then at least, so we can get, because there's some other good picks in here. The San Francisco 49ers of Santa Clara select Michael Williams of Georgia.
So Matt Barrow said this was the guy who they were going to draft in the first round. He was saying that a week and a half, 2 weeks before the draft. This is the guy they were going to get, Michael Williams. They want to get Robert Saleh some players. When Robert Saleh has thrived in the NFL is with young defensive players. So they got guys who can pretty much, because 49ers had a problem stopping the run. I've always said 49ers defense isn't as good as people's trying to make it seem. They've had problems stopping the run the last couple of years. The first 3 guys they drafted were heavy run stoppers, and this is one of them. Michael Williams from Georgia. We'll talk about maybe the other picks later, but 49ers, you have to stop the run. I don't give a damn if you played Pop Warner, high school, college, NFL, whatever. If you can't stop the run, your offense, I don't care how great they are, they're not going to see the field. Your defense is going to get worn and they're going to stay on the field a lot because you can't stop the run. So that was the 49ers' main issue, it looks like, for the first 3 picks. I get it. So, he supposedly can stop, he can help stop the run. So we'll see. Also, it doesn't, I guess they adopted the Philadelphia Eagles strategy where you just draft a player in the first round from Alabama or Georgia. That's what they seem to do for the past 5 years. And so they just got a player from Georgia. Those Georgia players, they're used to playing in big games. They're used to the pressure. They're used to pro scouts, being around or whatever. And, they have a must win every game type of culture. So they understand the urgency. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Don't ask me if he's going to be good or bad. He seems like a boom or bust player to me. I think if he's going to be good, you're going to see it his rookie year. If he's not good his rookie year, I don't know. It could be a bust. We'll see.
Yeah. You've had enough experience with these early picks. B, you got any thoughts?
No.
Right.
That's his domain.
You got it. Up next, Dallas Cowboys select Tyler Booker from Alabama, offensive guard. Someone to protect that boy Dak. What y'all thought?
That's a hamstring industry, a bad one.
Dak or Tyler?
Dak.
Oh.
Yeah, he has a second lower leg injury in about a couple of years. But yeah, any thoughts on the pick, Brian?
I think that if Dallas did it, it's probably going to end up being a mistake.
You know what, Brian? I'm glad you said that because that's a good segue to what I'm about to say. Happy you said that. So when Dallas got this guy, I think Jerry Jones or somebody said that he's the Jalen stopper, the guy from Jalen Carter stopper, because he hasn't given up any sacks the last 2 years.
I heard this too.
Jalen wasn't in college the last couple of years, but the last time the guy did give up 2 sacks was 3 years ago, and it was against Jalen Carter. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but Dallas has drafted linemen pretty good the last few years, so this guy might work out, just not when they play against Philly. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I like how the kid sounds, and then like you said, Alabama players could be a beast, but I mean, like you said, the Cowboys have had some linemen. They've been pretty solid. It's just
they've been good. Drafting linemen.
They do know with it. Michigan up next. Michigan. The Dolphins up next select Kenneth Grant from Michigan, defensive tackle.
Don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, me either.
Fair enough for me.
But I will say I think that Miami will be in a candidate to have a top 5 pick next year. I just think they're going to be terrible.
They ain't been that good. They ain't been that good the year before. So you got that, and then we were getting to
Indianapolis next.
Yeah, Indianapolis.
Yeah,
Tyler
they drafted Tyler Warren.
Okay.
I think this is one of those things where you take the best guy on the board, and when you have the top tight end or wouldn't matter if he was a wide receiver, if you have somebody who has fallen a little bit beneath where their draft stock is, and is heralded to be the 6th best player in this draft on a lot of boards, and 1st best player at the position with a high grade overall. Yeah, you're going to throw him in the mix because anything that's better than what you got is a good place to start.
Yeah. With me, look, the problem with Indianapolis has never been talent. It's always been the quarterback position. Having a 6'6", 250 pound tight end is great to have when you have inaccurate quarterbacks on your roster. Anthony Richardson is one of the most inaccurate quarterbacks in the history of NFL for passes under 10 yards. I don't know how that's possible, but he is. You got Daniel Jones, who's inaccurate as well. So to have this tight end, I mean, it's pretty. I think it's a good pick by Indianapolis because throwing the wide receivers just ain't worked out. So you might as well get a tight end.
Yikes. Yeah. Up next, the Falcons selected Jalen Walker.
This might go down as the best value pick. The Atlanta pick might go down as the best value pick in the draft. Yeah. I mean, Jalen Walker was fourth at any position, 4th overall in the draft. Yep. Second at that position behind Javon. Abdul. I don't know what I was saying.
Abdul Carter.
And he's got a great track record. I believe he kind of slipped a little bit because of some concerns, but this is a super talented kid, and they desperately needed a defensive player
badly.
So talk about falling to the right place at the right time in the right situation. I imagine that Atlanta was elated. I don't know what happens, but they can't go away unhappy with how this worked out for them.
Man.
Yeah,
much better draft than what they did last year, which obviously was pretty ugly.
Yeah, I agree with you, Brian. Yeah, this is a good pick, I guess, for them. This is a weak edge rusher class, but it's a good pick for them. I got a really good. The next thing they did in the draft could be a hogwash segment for me, but it won't be. But I would, I like this pick. It was a good pick for them. They need help on the edge, and they got somebody.
Speak up. Their next pick, they got back into the first round and took.
Oh, okay. Well, since you brought it up, I guess I will speak up then. So this was the dumbest.
Yeah,
this was the dumbest trade of the year. I've never seen a team move up from the middle of the second round to the back of the first round to get somebody who's not a quarterback. This guy, James Pierce, is probably the 5th best edge rusher in the draft, and they gave up their second round pick this year, which the Rams didn't have. They gladly took, but they also gave the Rams a first round pick next year for James Pierce. I don't understand. That's the dumbest trade of the damn year. If you're the Rams, you got to take that. Atlanta's not going to be good. So this is going to be a top 15 pick for the Rams next year. So they're going to have 2 first round picks. And as a 49er fan, I'm highly upset about that because the Rams are they're an organization that's ran well. If they were a bad organization, I wouldn't care. But I mean, to give, I don't know. I know Raheem Morris used to work for Sean McVay, but to do something like this was absolutely stupid. I don't get it. For James Pierce,
I get it. I get it. I'm not sure I agree or disagree with you, but because I really didn't think about it that hard. But they went into this draft knowing they wanted edge rushers. They went and they got 2. Pierce was another one where he was probably a good value pick at that in that position. And as you said, this is not going to be the make or break. The other thing is that they've clearly in Atlanta decided that when they want to get something, they're going to draft or pick or figure out and bring in 2-3 options and then figure it out later, which they did with Jalen Walker and James Pierce. Right, they've got two solid players there.
They ain't going to playoffs. They're a mess. They're doing stupid stuff.
Remember their conference. I mean, their division. It's not super.
Yeah,
it ain't the hardest division in the world.
Yeah, that is true.
But
the Buccaneers are solid though. But yeah.
But last year they didn't even go 500. Remember, Raheem Morris hired all them people. He got the biggest coaching staff in the league. They asked him why he did it. He said, "We're going to lose coaches, acting like they're going to be good." Ain't nobody wants y'all coaches. Y'all went 8-9 last year. Y'all suck.
Weren't they close to the playoffs too because of the teams are so bad though? Weren't they like a game out? You know what I mean? Even still to that point.
Yeah.
So
they were.
All right, so that's the first 15. Let's get to B. Who you guys got, man? Donovan Jackson from Ohio State, offensive.
Yeah, how you feel about him? I know nothing.
Yeah, I would say I didn't know a whole lot about them. Obviously, I thought that they were going to take a safety, which I was very surprised because not only did they not take a safety then, they didn't take a safety in the whole damn draft. They made a conscious decision to use their number 1 round, their first pick, and then some free agency moves that they made to shore up the offensive line. I didn't understand it in the moment, but I've been reading a lot of articles after the fact that are talking about what they did and how they've effectively made an offensive line that is starting a Pro Bowl caliber player or first round draft pick at every single spot. They've been abysmal on the rush block for a while. And so they've turned the tides on paper, right? We'll see what happens.
Sure.
And so I get it. I don't understand the wide receiver pickup, but I'm sure this kid has talent because they find talent at wide receiver in Minnesota. But that was a little unexpected in the 3rd round. And then the rest of it was basically, they only had 5 picks. But the rest of it was an edge and a linebacker, again, shoring up the defense or at least adding some depth there because they're in the 5th and 6th rounds. You're not looking for starters, maybe. Especially
you got one of those teams though, Brian, where a lot of rookies ain't gonna get no playing time. It's no reason even to have a bunch of picks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's depth. It's depth.
Yeah.
Because right now, as I look at the team, they've got an outstanding offensive line. They've already had a very, very good defense with the exclusion of safety, which I think they'll figure out a different way. Mm-hmm. Obviously, their wide receivers are tight. Their quarterback situation is to be determined. They've got some reasons to be happy. They're putting pieces together. And I have been on the record of saying I'm going to have confidence in the GM, even though I can't see it. Their GM hasn't really made any misses in spite of trepidation about them being thought of as better than they might be. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, got the talent. Anybody else in the draft that you guys were like, oh, I like this guy went there, or
Well,
not before we get
I
all the
think
way
we
there?
gotta talk about Cleveland.
No, we'll get
well,
there
yeah, but
eventually.
well,
We'll get
yeah,
there
we'll
eventually. But I'm
yeah.
just wondering, like, it's still in this first round too.
Before Shador, I'll just talk about three guys real quick. Amari and Hampton went to a good team, meaning that I say good team, meaning because he's going to get a lot of carries.
Okay,
Harbaugh likes to run
thanks
the
for
ball.
specifying, bruh.
So this is a straight Harbaugh pick. He's going to be the Frank Gore of that team. So he'll share carry with Najee Harris, but he'll get more of the carries. He's just better than Najee. Second guy is Emeka Abuka. I think that's his last name. Wide receiver from Tampa Bay. And the only reason I'm saying this guy is because Jason Light, the GM for Tampa Bay, he just doesn't miss in the draft. I think 43 or 44 players on the team last year were drafted by Tampa Bay. So he usually drafts really, really well. I thought this guy was a second round talent. He's not even the best receiver on Ohio State. That's Jeremiah Smith, who's still there. But maybe this guy might do some things if Jason Light drafted. And that's the only reason I'm interested in him. And then last is Jackson Dart. It looks like the whole coaching staff for the New York Giants are trying to get fired. I don't know why you want to get Jackson Dart. This dude, I saw him play. I've only seen Jackson Dart play in big games against LSU, Georgia, and Alabama. And he didn't look good in any of them games. So I don't know why they drafted him. I found out he went to the same high school as Zach Wilson. So the fact that you've been hanging around that guy, I don't know.
They were more than 4 years apart, man. I think they were safe.
And the Giants have got to worry about him playing in no big games. They probably fine.
Well, the thing is, when they get fired, then the next coach is going to have to be inherited with him, and that's a bad thing. But I also saw him play against Florida, where he imploded in the game and threw 3 interceptions in a must-win game to get in the playoffs. He just let the team down too much in big games. I just didn't see him as a first rounder, but obviously the Giants do. So when they get fired, you'll know why. Yeah. So that's only 3 players I want to talk about. What about you, Brian?
No, none for me. Like I said, I was just calling a fly on the wrong. I just. It's interesting to see how some teams try to build their rosters.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how it all works out.
For me,
what's up?
Go ahead.
I guess I will mention one thing that I thought was pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Scatterbo.
Oh, okay. Arizona running back.
Super heralded out of Arizona State.
Arizona State.
Over
mm-hmm. Yep.
And also ended up on the Giants.
Yep.
In the 4th round. I will be very interested to see what happens with that. I thought it was a smart pick because he's a guy that New York dudes can kind of get behind. Yeah. I don't know if it worked out, but his style, I'm going to run through you, not around you, is something that some New Yorkers could probably appreciate.
GB, I don't mean to cut you up. I want to talk about one more player.
You're fine, bro.
He's not even a first rounder. It was my sleeper pick, Kyle McCord, quarterback from Syracuse. He went to the Philadelphia Eagles. If Jalen Hurts ever is out, which most likely he will be, he'll get hurt again sometime. He'll get hurt. Kyle McCord's going to step in. It will not be, that much of a drop off. Of course, he's not the same type of player as Jalen Hurts, but he can definitely throw the ball. And AJ Brown and Devontae will still get their targets. So Philly did, they usually kill the draft. And man, I think that was just a good pick to get Kyle McCord. He's definitely not Kenny Pickett. He's definitely not Kenny Pickett and definitely not Marcus Mariota. He's better than both of those guys. So.
Man, 10 draft picks.
I was gonna mine was on that first round. The first round was JD Barron going to the damn Broncos. That's crazy because their defense already was pretty damn solid. And then you have Surtain Jr. on one side, and now if this dude ends up being good, as they say, that's 2 pretty tough young corners out there ready to get to it. So that's pretty tough.
I don't know much about him,
especially in our division. He was heralded as one of the best, right there with Will Johnson, who slipped, right?
Yeah, I didn't think Will Johnson was all that, but
he had some injuries. But yeah, so I mean, if Barron is nice as cats say, then ugly for me, and our team on there. But I mean, it is what it is. All right, so Brian, you kind of talked about your team's draft overall. Coop, what about the Niners overall?
Just a lot of defense and depth. I mean, they did draft a wide receiver. Let's see how this guy works out, but I mean, they're just trying to fill in the blanks from players mostly that they're that have been that are gone. I don't know. I don't really have an overall feeling. I'm not in the draft grades. I like to actually see guys play and take the field and actually play.
Sure.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, if it's a good draft, it wouldn't surprise me. But if it's a bad draft, it wouldn't surprise me. So I remember there was a draft some years back we had with LaMichael James and all them from Oregon. It was
Oh man, I forgot about that.
yeah, and then 3 years later, everybody
Oregon,
was off the team except one person. So I mean,
yeah,
we'll see. Who knows? I don't know. I really can't say.
got it.
Don't know.
For the Raiders, I'm hearing a lot of, Raiders had a great draft pick, A grades, a great draft overall. Genty obviously is a great move because you're going to need, like you said, based on Pete Carroll offenses, just based on how everything you were saying, Coop, about if you can't stop the run, you're going to have issues. Running the ball is important. What's my boy? Geno Smith has been good with play action. It makes a lot of sense. We also got a couple of receivers, a speedster from Tennessee.
Got a lot of players. He had 11 picks.
Yeah. It seemed like y'all were picking like every 10 picks. Y'all
had
like 15, 20 picks.
It's hard to get it completely wrong when you get 4 shots at it.
I loved it, bro. A couple receivers. We got a corner who's kind of got some measurables as some other good corners that Seattle's had in the
measurables
past.
in your vernacular, did you? But
I mean, because like you said, you got to get them on the field, but you draft players also, like you said, based off their projection. So if you're, a 6-foot plus receiver that's running under a 4.3, that was a very Al Davis pick, Deontay Thornton from Tennessee, which was cool. And then we got some defensive line, O-line. So yeah, I'm curious to see what they say, but it's been cool.
So I want to hear what you have to say about Cam Miller, if anything.
I'm curious about those two so if people don't know,
remember that was the other thing I said that they were going to do is take the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yep. So they got 2 quarterbacks actually. You got who were both in the FCS championship last year. Cam Miller and what's my other guy's name?
You got somebody that was 5'11" from Montana. Didn't even know they had a football team.
After the draft, they didn't draft another one. I'm looking at the
they did.
Yeah.
Didn't they draft him?
They'll list him. The 7th round pick. He might be listed as a wide receiver, but he played quarterback for his team.
Yeah.
You mean
got drafted.
linebacker? You guys drafted.
Oh wait, no. Yeah, no, we did. JJ.
I thought that quarterback from Montana got drafted.
I did too.
By you guys.
Yeah, you might be right, B. I thought so too.
Anyways, but Cam Miller, this is a guy who I think there's some questions about whether or not he fits into the NFL, because how he fits in the NFL. But his stats are outstanding. The dude was 45-11, 2-time FCS national championship quarterback, 2-time team captain. He did it all for North Dakota State. There's always a question. These guys are never going to go a top pick, but he is clearly knows how to chuck a football.
Yeah.
And so I imagine that someone like Pete Carroll, who has had experience doing something similar to this with Russell Wilson, is excited about the arm talent and is willing to work with them a little bit.
Yeah, we got that.
Russell Wilson was killing in college, though.
Yeah, and we got.
No, I said Russell Wilson was killing in college. He threw like 100 and some touchdowns, only like 20 some interceptions, maybe 30, but he was killing in college.
Cam Miller.
Yeah. I'm curious to see. I mean, like you said, it was late, and then we got Tommy Mello.
Was that the one from Montana?
Yeah.
Who was like wide receiver, kind of Taysom Hill's what I heard them say, not necessarily using the exact same way, but kind of.
I do see that he grades out as an undrafted free agent quarterback.
Yeah, as a weapon. So I think he's gonna be.
Didn't see him, don't know him.
He'll be a receiver, but I mean,
he'll be like Cordell Stewart for y'all.
I mean, I don't think he actually is going to play quarterback, but I think it's, Taysom Hill comes in, you don't know, you kind of got to guard the pass a little bit. He might run, he might pitch it, like just enough to keep defenses off balance if you decide to play him like that. So we'll see. But I'm excited about it, man. I'm always cautiously optimistic, as y'all know. But I'm excited. So we'll see what happens. So all right, go ahead, man, because y'all been chomping at the bit to talk about this guy, man. Give me your Shedeur Sanders takes.
Hey Brian, you start because I laughed.
This is like I said, the best thing that I can say, right, is this was a great thing for Shedeur Sanders because he was absolutely going to be a first-round bust, and now he is a 5th-round draft pick, which is a 5th round. What was 5th or 6th?
5th,
he's exactly where he's supposed to be.
In Cleveland.
Not talking about the team. Not talking necessarily about the team.
Oh,
I'm talking about from a draft position.
Yes, I agree.
This is the kind of talent he showed, which everyone wanted to blow up. I mean, his yards per attempt were low. He would throw it short, and Travis Hunter would go and make a great play, and they'd go, he threw a 45-yard pass to Travis Hunter for a touchdown. No, he threw a 3-yard out, and Travis Hunter did all the rest. Anyways, I will give the kid credit, because when things went sideways, he showed that he might have a little humility in him somewhere. Maybe if he had showed some of that when he was doing draft interviews, he wouldn't have lasted so long. But he did handle that admirably. I honestly think that ending up on Cleveland was a bad situation for him. They've got 4 quarterbacks. They clearly were like, I don't know what we're going to do with our last pick of the draft. Why don't we take Sanders? Because they had already made a commitment to Dylan Gabriel. They got hundreds of millions of dollars still left in Deshaun, and then they got Joe Flacco, who's on the roster. So I don't know that he gets an opportunity. He's going to have to go in and really outplay folks. And we have friends who believe he can do it. I do not believe, and this is not. I didn't believe he had the talent. So this is not a matter of him doing something that he was born to do, and then it'll all going to work out. Like I said, at least he won't have to go down as a big, huge first-round bust.
Yeah. I mean, I was saying it for a while, man. This is not a first or second round talent. Now, I agree. He was drafted right where he should have been drafted, in the 5th round. Look, he's the epitome of why you should not believe everything what you hear about draft prospects on TV. Because all I heard was Mike Tomlin loves Shedeur Sanders. I heard it so much, I really believed it. I just heard it so much. Okay, I guess Mike Tomlin really does like Shedeur Sanders. Steelers had a few picks and they didn't even take him. And Steelers don't even have a quarterback. So he probably doesn't really like him that much. They overdrafted Kenny Pickett, who was in the 1st round talent as well. He's a 4th or 5th round talent. I don't think they were going to make the same mistake with Shedeur, and they didn't. And then I heard Shedeur has a relationship with Tom Brady. And it seemed like the Raiders had a hell of draft picks, and they took, they took offensive linemen from a college called Bill and Mary. They took quarterbacks from Montana State and other places too, and they passed on Sanders. Yeah. So, well, you got the guy from North Dakota State. So they wasn't fooling with Sanders. And then New Orleans were like, we're good. They rather draft a guy who's going to be 26 years old to start the damn season. And I didn't know he was a multi-year backup for Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's on his 2nd year of his NFL extension. He was a backup for him. That's how old he is. But they were good too. And then the Giants.
They got Spencer Rattler anyway. They don't need no quarterback. Go ahead.
Okay. And then the Giants, all I heard was, well, if Cleveland doesn't take him, the Giants definitely going to take him. And then Adam Schefter comes out the morning of the draft and says, yeah, don't expect the Giants to take Shedeur Sanders. So obviously the NFL, they don't like this guy. Like Brian said, he was in interviews acting like, like Deion Sanders was, but he doesn't have the type of talent. It's like when you're just okay, like I've been saying he's just okay, nothing special. And nobody tells you, but you have this, this, I guess, false sense of yourself. I mean, you have to have intangibles, and he obviously doesn't have. He has to have intangibles like Dak or Brock or something. You have to have intangibles. He doesn't have intangibles, and so, he was all like, well, if you ain't trying to change the culture or change the franchise, don't draft me. So nobody drafted him, and I honestly believe, Brian, that Cleveland drafted him because the owner said so. I don't even think the GM or the coach even wanted him. I don't think nobody wants that.
I feel like it was their last pick.
Yeah,
and someone did Dion a solid.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the reason why I don't believe in other players talk about other players playing in the league. I hate it. There's too many friends. I just really think that Dion has a lot of friends in the media, and they just didn't want to tell him the truth about Shedeur, that he's just okay, he's nothing special, and they all pumped him up. We all heard it. He's a 2nd best quarterback in the draft. Brian, me and you've been on this for forever. He's not that good, and the NFL pretty much just said that. I mean, you have Baltimore drafting guys who was accused of sexual assault in high school and college. They don't care about the past or whatever. They're not.
That's the team of Ray Rice, bro. They ain't tripping.
It's like, if you got talent, they'll get you. And obviously, they don't think much of his talent. And Glenn, I don't know if you know this, but when a team drafts you, after I was told by a guy who was a scout, if a NFL team drafts you past the 3rd round, like 4th, 5th, or 6th round, they view you as a backup. So nobody even views Shedeur as a starter. That's how they. I mean, you might not end up as
My
the
boys is
backup.
going
And I'm just
in, bro.
saying they view you.
Y'all been on this
So
boy's head for years.
man,
I feel a little bit different about it. I do think it's a great
Feel
situation.
vindicated.
I don't know. I think it's a great situation because now it can be
Why?
about the work. Because it's about the work now, which is awesome. Like I think it's
He's
a
in,
great situation to be on a team that, like to Brian's point, there's no clear quarterback there. So you're gonna have a chance to compete for the job. And I honestly think he could start for Cleveland. I'm not saying this year, but I think it's if he becomes, if their comp was Geno Smith, right? That's a solid NFL career if you could do that,
I think
right?
Geno Smith is better, but yeah, okay, I get it.
I mean,
But
yeah, to that point. But for a lot of years, I was clowning on Geno Smith, et cetera. Now I was
yeah,
excited
I
to see
was
him,
too.
right? So there's a lot of time to come. When Geno Smith will come in games, we played him. I was like, great. My
Not,
point though,
not one of us wouldn't trade our careers for Geno Smith's career. So,
well, I mean,
um,
I
Well,
would, but
well,
I'm
I
saying
mean,
all I'm saying is I think it's a
no,
great
no,
situation.
I'm saying I would change. None one of
yeah,
us
Oh
would.
yeah,
we all would, yeah,
yeah.
We
I'm
would
saying
all
that,
absolutely take Geno Smith's pro
yeah,
career.
and I'm
definitely,
saying that
As
if
long as
definitely,
it comes with money.
that's the comp,
definitely.
yeah, I think that he's in a great situation to now all the extra BS is gone. It's just about the work. You go out there and you can prove if you could play, and you're on a team where you can prove you could play. Who you could definitely beat Deshaun Watson. You could beat Joe
Sean
Flacco because he's
Watson
going to
not
be
playing.
gone in a year. That's what I'm saying. And then you got to, so you're competing against Dylan Gabriel.
But okay, and Dylan Gabriel shouldn't be there either. But here's your issue. This is what I was saying
He ain't
before.
that good. That's
Yeah,
his issue.
Bro, but
yeah, he's not that
you're on a
good.
great team. Who's the great quarterback that the Browns have, is what I'm saying.
But he's in
I get
Cleveland,
it.
Glenn. He's in
No,
Cleveland. He
Yeah,
has
that's
a
how you
weak
get on the
arm.
field. That's how
He
you get
has
on
a
the field.
he has a weak arm like Manziel. He has a
but
weak arm, and
I
it's not going to
take
work.
Glenn's point. I take Glenn's point. The opportunity is there for him
Yes.
to
Perfect.
go in there
Correct.
and win it.
Correct.
Because there's nothing else there. Here, the
Right.
problem is he's not good enough to be able to take advantage of it.
Exactly. That's it right there.
We gonna
He's
see.
not good enough. Yeah.
I'm rooting for the
Yeah.
kid, man, because he's
Everyone's
doesn't-
been telling
hella
me, we're gonna
hate.
see when it comes to that too for the last few years.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lunch bets I won.
Yeah.
League
We
now.
see it every week. He's not that good.
He
They're
doesn't
not
have
good.
it. Yeah, he doesn't have
22 and
instincts.
21.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big
I don't know.
12.
I mean, he
can't-
was 1-7 against bowl teams, 13-12.
I don't know. But wins are tough because wins are a team stat. But all right, we've
He
already
has a
said that.
weak. He has a weak.
We've already
arm.
said that though.
His arm is weak. It's not going to work
Again,
in
hey,
Cleveland.
and the only reason I would go up that is because Jimmy G was a winner. He won all them games, but we all know it's a team game, bro. So either
No,
way,
that's true.
I'm rooting for the
That's
kid.
true.
But that's all I'm saying.
It'd be better if he
I
was in
hope
a
he has a
dome or
better
a warm
chance.
place. Cleveland,
Yeah.
he's no chance, no shot. Him or
Root
Dylan
for
Gabriel.
We're gonna see.
Root for Cam Miller.
Yes.
We're gonna see.
No. Yeah. Root for
well, my
Cam
team,
Miller and
my
Cam
team
Ward.
Yeah, we're gonna see what Cam Miller does. I don't know if he's gonna be our quarterback of the future, but I think for now you're trying to win games now. So, all right. Anything else for the draft?
Do y'all think that he was done wrong by NFL teams? Because I sure don't.
No.
Okay, got some people are saying
I
he was
think
done
it's a great
dirty.
scenario. I think it's a great scenario for him.
No.
He can just
I
work
think
now.
You get what you earned.
Exactly.
He earned a 5th-round draft pick.
Exactly. And Dion was saying, we're going to dictate the terms. Okay, you go ahead and dictate. You're not going to
Yeah,
play
y'all-
for certain
yeah, y'all
teams. Yeah,
boys is-
okay. All right.
Yeah, boys,
Okay.
anti them Sanders boys. Do
He
y'all like
went to the worst place.
do y'all like Colonel Sanders? Do y'all like any
I
Sanders?
don't eat KFC. I eat Popeyes. I would never disrespect Popeyes and eat
I see, bruh.
KFC.
Coop ain't with no Sanders. The only Sanders he with is
Barry. I like Barry.
Okay,
Barry.
cool. Bernie, any
Yeah.
of them. God damn. This boy going crazy. All right. So anything else for the draft? Otherwise, let's do NFL, NBA real quick, and then we're out of here.
Yeah.
All right. So NBA playoffs. I've actually been watching, and these games are actually not that bad. I was talking to my brother Algernon, who's actually kind of changing my mind on the current state of the game, man. I see why I miss nostalgia because I miss the players of old, the personalities, everybody I knew. But from a skill perspective, like, watching, you got big men now who can handle the ball, shoot, like the skill levels is really high. The games now are good because there's defense being played, there's offense being played, ball movement. It's kind of everything I'd hope to see. The
You
one
got
thing
big
though,
man who don't post up. The game is soft, but go ahead. It's European now. It's not.
yeah, I
Go
mean,
ahead.
but the skill level is crazy. Like, because at
Yeah.
the same time, he crossing people over, they shooting, like it's wild. But
Yeah.
the interesting thing to me too, as we're talking about this, there is no home court advantage anymore. Home court isn't. It's
Well, yeah,
never
because you got people
non-existent.
shooting 33s, and if they miss 27 of them, like Boston did the other day when they
And
blew
like
the game,
Minnesota did yesterday too.
What's
Yeah,
having home
so
court going to do?
it's been interesting. So right now, Thunder and Nuggets are tied 1-1.
I don't know.
Nuggets stole a game.
Well, I
That
don't
was
know about
crazy.
how y'all feel, but that game one was surprising to me that the Nuggets came off a 7-game series and then beat the Thunder in
Came all the way back. That
City.
ending of that game was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then the Cavs
Well,
Pacers game was almost the exact same way yesterday, like
Yep.
to the point.
Thunder put an exclamation point on it tonight, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They was like,
That's kind of how these playoffs
have.
have been, right? So, and then the Timberwolves and Warriors, the
Well,
Warriors.
before we go, Brian, who you got winning the Thunder Nugget series?
Oh, I got the Thunder.
Okay.
And I had it that way before because I didn't think that Denver was going to get past the Clippers.
Yeah, me too.
So
okay.
I definitely don't think they're going to get past the Thunder. But if I had any doubt after they lost the first game, that 43-point whooping they put on them tonight gave me plenty of confidence that they are at the right level.
Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all know right now. Watching the Clippers implode in that game 7, I mean, I kind of love that, to be honest with you. Just even though I had the Clippers winning, they were getting stomped.
Didn't hurt my feelings a little bit at all.
They were getting, and James Harden just did what James Harden does in these big games, just a no-show, 7 points. But anyway, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and then Timberwolves Warriors. Warriors blew them out. Buddy Hield is going for 30 a game, hitting 14 threes and all kind of craziness. So Timberwolves are down 1-0 to the Warriors.
All right. So Brian, Curry's gonna be out for about a week. Who you got in this series?
Gonna miss at least one game.
Yeah.
So look, I thought I thought about this before the series started, and I think the Timberwolves are a better team. And so I thought Timberwolves are going to win. I'm not going to rethink that, even though they're in a hole 1-0. I still think the Timberwolves can win this in 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think Curry's going to be out at least 2 games. I don't. Yeah, and if he comes back after only 1 game, he's still going to be hurt. That hamstring. Yeah, you can't mess with that. I got Timberwolves too in this one,
especially with the type of game he plays. All right, Cavaliers Pacers.
Pacers. They ain't playing no games, none. Let me tell you something. Right now, my game ball goes to Halliburton, man, because the way he just got that ball in game 2, get to the top of the key, say, I ain't going for a tie. We try to win this bad boy, and he hit that shot. I was thoroughly surprised. But the Pacers, man, this is a different Pacers team I'm not used to seeing. They're still giving up a lot of points, but they're scoring on everybody. They were scoring on the Bucks, and they're scoring on Cleveland, man. But even though they're up 2-0, Brian, I still think Cleveland's going to find a way to win. I just think they are.
I said the same thing.
Yeah. What about
so? I actually was going to go with the Pacers on this one, and the reason is that I think Cleveland's super talented. But as I always say, you have to get your teeth kicked in the playoffs before you can come back and be ready to go to that next level. I think this is that year for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I think the Pacers are on a mission, Blues Brothers style.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, I'm going to reverse my pick. I'm taking the Pacers because Cleveland and Mobley and a couple other guys have some injuries. They're playing with injuries right now. They're kind of banged up.
I didn't know anything about the injuries.
Yeah, they're not going to heal during this series. So I'm going to switch. I'm going to take the Pacers on this one.
Still rocking my people in Ohio. I got Cleveland. All right, and then the last one, Knicks and Celtics, man. New York's up 2-0. I'm going
to suck this one up. If you would ask me before the series, I would have said there's no damn way the Knicks are going to be competitive in this series. That the Celtics are going to win this in 5.
Yeah.
So I would have picked the Celtics. They are now down in a huge hole. They won both their home games, one of which disappointing style tonight, 91-90. So I will acknowledge that I would have made the wrong pick because the Knicks are absolutely going to finish this series out at this point. They get 2 home games, but I would have taken the Celtics, so I would have been wrong on this this pick if we had a show before the series started.
What I've noticed with the Celtics in the Orlando series and this series, Celtics have big leads. They don't hold on to them anymore. They allow teams to come back, and they've been blowing games. They just blew 2 straight to the Knicks. I'm not mad at that. To see the Celtics out the playoffs will make me happy. I still think the Celtics are going to come back and win the series. If they lose, I will not be mad. But Celtics, Knicks they didn't beat the Celtics all season. They didn't beat Cleveland. They didn't beat Oklahoma City. And the Celtics, they were actually up, 10-15 this game. But the Knicks came back. Celtics just don't hold leads, man. But I just think they'll still come back and find a way to win this series.
Come on, Knicks.
If you were a betting man, you would have been real intrigued because before the series started, the Celtics were a huge favorite.
Yeah.
We had to bet 500, I believe, or more to get 100.
Right, which I would do.
And then after the first game lost, it only went down to 340, minus 340. So 340 get 100. I haven't seen the thing, but I got to imagine with a two game hole that they're now on the plus side.
Yeah, I'm about to look it up.
Of things. So I'm going to guess they're probably plus 300, 400, having gone from minus 500 before the series.
I'm going to say probably plus 220, but I'm going to look up right now. That's a good point. Series price.
If you liked them before,
Let's go Knicks, man. I ain't never picking the Celtics for nothing.
Now I got you. Right now the Pacers are minus. Right now the Cavaliers are plus 161. Wow, and the Warriors are plus 175. Ooh, so they'd probably think Curry's gonna be out
that? So what does that mean? You bet 175, you get 100.
Okay, no. So for the Warriors on the plus side, you bet 100. The Warriors win the series, you get 175. For Cleveland, you bet 100, you get 161. But on the flip side, Pacers are minus 187. So you bet $187, you get back 100 if they win the series. For the Timberwolves, you have to put up $205 to get back 100.
Got it.
I'm trying to look up what you call the other one, but yeah, okay, all right.
Got it. So wait, if they're plus, then that means you put up 100 and you get that plus. So if it's plus 175, put up 100, you get it 175 back.
175, yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
So right now looks like Cleveland is plus 270. Yeah, they're on the plus side, B.
Let's see what they do.
Yep.
Word. That's all I got. Unless y'all got something else for playoffs.
No, that's it.
All right, cool. Let's wrap it up.
I already gave out my game ball, Tyrese Halliburton, for that shot.
Yeah, are we gonna talk anything about the L we all took with thinking the Lakers could put up a little bit of a fight?
Man,
I did.
I will. You know exactly where I'm going.
Let's talk.
Chubby Checker ain't gonna help us win the championship. Like,
wow.
Dude, oh man.
The entire series we were text messaging back and forth with me telling everybody I do not like watching this guy play basketball.
Man.
He is always the last guy up and down the court. He talks. Everyone talks about it. Heart. He has none.
Yeah.
He's obviously pretty talented, but this series is exactly the reason why Dallas is like, nah, I ain't trying to pay that dude $400 million.
Right.
Like, everything about this series is exactly why. Now, independent of this, I will give the Lakers some credit. They acknowledged before this series, when they got to the playoffs, they said that this is still a work in progress. We still need a big man. They tried to get Mark Williams. That didn't work out. They clearly understood that in the playoffs, they were going to need a big guy in order to be able to really move things forward. After the series was over, they said, we told you, we knew that this was a big gap. We weren't physical in the way that you need to be to win a championship. So there's at least that little thing that they didn't go into this playoffs thinking this was going to, that they'd won 52 games and we're going to be able to make some real noise. But I absolutely understand why Nico was like, nah, 400 million for this dude who can't come in game shape. And shout out to JJ who put it right on out there. We need to get in championship shape. And it's not fair. Yeah. He came out the very next day after that they got out and said that, and I absolutely believe that was a shot across the bow of Luka.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I'm tripping that you just said Chubby Checker, bro.
Man, that's hella funny.
God, I remember we was in our 20s. We wouldn't even thought of that. Checker. Now this is a reference we use. Man. I need to go get a full physical. Apparently, I'm getting old.
That's funny.
All right, word. So that's where we're at. Sports Counterpoints. It's May the 7th. Let's get our last few segments. Game ball. Coop said he gave his to Halliburton. B.
Yep.
I'll give it to the Vikings GM. Like I said, I just think that they did a good job with what they had. They didn't have a lot of picks. They only had 6. They didn't have Raider type picks, but
yeah,
they found areas of need. They made strong, decisive decisions going in a certain direction, and I have some confidence in what they're going to do next.
Yeah, same kind of thing for my team. I like the draft, but even just GM getting Pete Carroll, all of the stuff they're doing, I'm thankful to see at least we're looking semi-competent. And then mine, I'm gonna give to the NBA too, because actually the playoffs have been entertaining. A lot of blowouts, but the games that have been close, or seeing these leads evaporate and 3-point, buzzer beaters at the end, and seeing some cats show up, it's been fun to watch. I can't even front. Hogwash, what y'all got?
My hogwash goes to the University of Michigan. I don't know if y'all heard about this, but the coach Sharon Moore, right, whatever his name is, he's getting suspended for 2 games for some recruiting scandal I think that happened some time ago. The suspension, the recruiting scandal, I don't want to talk about. It's the 2 games I want to talk about. Usually when somebody gets suspended for 2 games, it's usually the first 2 games of the year. This guy's getting suspended weeks 3 and 4. Why even put a suspension out there if you're going to? Then people say, well, why is it weeks 3 and 4? Because the first 2 games. The second game, Michigan plays against Oklahoma. Well, the coach from Michigan played at Oklahoma, so he gets to coach against his alma mater. So they say, yeah, you can coach that game, and you could just sit out against Central Michigan and Nebraska. So my hogwash goes to Michigan. Like, why even impose?
Yeah, they've been on that.
I mean, come on, just do weeks 1 and 2, and if you're gonna suspend them, not weeks 3 and 4, or, some random like that. So it's the University of Michigan.
B.
Yeah, my hogwash goes out to the Boston Celtics. I mean, how can you possibly be in this situation as coming off of championship aspirations and just falling flat on their face? Yeah, there's a little bit of element of yay, but at the same time, like, what are you all doing over there? That's a bunch of hogwash that you all can't show up and beat a Knicks team that is beatable. Now they're playing well, but they are still very beatable, and you can't get anywhere with them. So
they only have. Yeah, I agree. They only had 1 close game against the Knicks all year. They blew them out all the other games, and yeah, I mean, it was actually fun to watch them implode. Yeah, it was fun to watch them implode. But
what that Chappelle skit say? Because F them. That's why.
Man.
All right, so the Celtics about here. Mine, I was telling you guys in message earlier. Former Raiders GM Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels, after watching Josh Jacobs' interview with, I think it was Will Compton. It might have been Bussin' with the Boys actually podcast. And they asked him, did you want to leave the Raiders? And he was like, man, I built a new house here. I wanted to stay here. I had all these, he's talking about going back and forth on the offers, trying to meet him in the middle with offers. They just sounded like they were just arrogant and stupid in the way they were trying to handle that for somebody that was 60-something% of the offense. I understand running backs weren't getting paid. I get all that. But for where our cap situation was and what our team was doing, it's just stupid how they handled it. I'm not saying you sign them to a $20 million a year contract, but having these fake conversations and talking in the building about it was stupid. If anybody sees the interview, you know what I'm talking about, but they get full hogwash, and I'm glad they're both gone because that was dumb. Last one, minute to win it. I don't have anything, man. It's good to be back. Love y'all both, man. Thanks everybody who listens, and yeah, appreciate y'all checking us out. Subscribe, give us a like on YouTube, man. Holla at your boys.
Mine is on for Justin Tucker. The Baltimore Ravens. They cut Justin Tucker. I was thoroughly surprised. I did not. I know Justin Tucker was bad last year.
He's coming.
Yeah, I knew he was bad last year, but I did not think they would cut this guy, and they cut Justin Tucker. And I remember a couple people say, why do you think they did it? Well, number 1, he was bad last year. Number 2, he's a specialist. And number 3, he's a distraction. So it's like, if you're a specialist who is bad at your job and a distraction, Baltimore has aspirations for a Super Bowl. They trying to, they trying to do big things. Baltimore's a first class organization. You know what I mean? They're in the playoffs every year, whatever. So they don't need no unnecessary kicker distraction. So, they got rid of Justin Tucker. I mean, Justin Tucker, he might go to the Hall of Fame. He probably should. He's very, very good. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just naive. I just didn't see it coming. So I was thoroughly shocked by it. So I had to say something about it.
I was shocked but not surprised.
Right. There you go. Yep. Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
There's so many Watson. My bad. Go ahead.
No, you finished.
No, I just said the white Deshaun Watson. That's all I said. The white version, but that's all I said. But go ahead.
No, there's just so many crazy things going on in our world today. I don't know if anyone saw, but Pakistan had 31 people killed in an airstrike from India, and they vowed decisive retaliation for it. That's a situation to worry about. Our president is a moron and going in the wrong direction fast, and got embarrassed in a recent meeting with the head of Canada, who said, "Oh, well, we don't really do that much trade with Canada." And Canada's like, hold up. Just so you were aware, we are actually the #1 place that you all do business with. And he's looking around, and it's a sad state of affairs. They just eliminated the Center for Disease, the group for disease prevention from the CDC. You would think that he learned something when we had a huge pandemic under his last term. Unfortunately, I think what he learned is that if the poor people are the ones that die and not the rich people. So, so be it, let it rock. And then the last thing I wanted to mention, I don't know if anybody's had any experiences since this real ID change, but I got one a little bit earlier. I was at the Newark airport. May 7th was the day that the new real IDs were supposed to start. I was there on Saturday, Sunday, May 4th. Get up to the person, give them my California ID, and the woman looks at it and says, "Do you have another ID, sir?" And I said, "Well, why do I need another ID?" And I said, "You have a sign right here, right there, all over the place that says May 7th is when I need a real ID." "Well, sir, we here have decided that we're going to start enforcement early." Well, I said, "Well, you there should absolutely have told people, because you got signs everywhere."
Yeah.
I actually do keep my card version of my passport with me, because I will not be getting a real ID anytime in the future. And whenever I get renewed, I get renewed. So I was able to get through, and I was watching this. But what kind of crazy stuff are we doing when we're starting enforcement of these types of things early? Like we're a mess. The FAA a mess. At one point in time, they did not have the ability to see any planes, and we're still landing and taking off planes out of the Newark airport. Glad to be here and not there.
Crazy, man. Sports Counterpoints, May the 7th, 2025. We will catch you on next show. Peace.